Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Grille Tier 5 German SPG. It's located on the south spawn of Malinovka and it's under the command of Heimblood 76. Now Heimblood, if I remember correctly, means whole blood. Not sure why, but it's a good enough name. Now he's armed with a 15cm howitzer mounted on top of a hull that comes from the Panzer 38T. Which of course, as you know, was basically the same chassis that was used for the Hetzer, or the Jagdpanzer 38T. And it's also used for the Marder. In fact, actually, it's only the difference of the gun that actually decides which vehicle this is. If it has the anti-tank gun, the 75mm, this would be a Marder. If it's the 15cm, it's a Grille. And he's gone to an unusual firing position, which is a little way forward than normal. And that means he's got an extended range. He's actually sitting in a bush next to a lake. He's lining up a shot on that Panzerkampfwagen 5F4. It's the Panzer 5.4, which is a premium tank. And ideally he wants to hit this guy as he gets close. Oh, he's been tracked. Okay. Rounds out. Oh, he just got killed in time before he got down into the dip. He didn't pick up any damage, but he was trying to follow that guy and get the shell in the right place. Now he's got a DSPZ, which is a Polish tank, up on top of the hill. There we go. Rounds out. Nice hit, 230. Now the alpha damage on these shells is 540. And it's got a burst radius, penetration of 38mm and burst radius of 7 meters, which means that it's got a fairly big footprint, and it also does a reasonable amount of damage. It's very comparable to the M44 in terms of damage, but its reload time is slightly longer. It's in the over 20 seconds mark for a shot. In fact, actually, he's got it under 20 seconds, so you must have a good crew in there. 19.83 seconds. It's just under 20 seconds. He's not using a fire extinguisher, and I suspect that he meant to actually use a premium consumable. That will speed up the reload a lot. And I don't know if he's noticed, but there's an AMX ELC over on the west side of the battlefield, next to the water. Just had to pull back because he spotted the DSPZ on our team. Up on top of the hill, there's an enemy DSPZ up there, but he's just too far south to actually get a shot on him. So he's going to have to relocate, get a bit closer. In the meantime, he's noticed that DSPZ again just across the way. Our AMX is hiding in the bush nearby, so he got the spot on him. And there's a VK3001H approaching, 30-ton tank. Lines up the shots. Rounds out. It's a blind shot. Now the enemy is fighting up on top of the hill. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to reach there yet because he didn't move that far. Okay, he's decided to motor a bit closer. I fell into that lake once before they made the changes to the geography of it. You normally couldn't get out this end because it wasn't shallow enough, but they've made it shallow enough now to get out. But I fell into the lake by accident, and of course I drowned because I couldn't get out. I just wasn't watching where I was going. Fell over the lip into the water, and yes, rather ignominious, but sometimes accidentally you do drown on this game. It wasn't a purpose. Drowning, that one accidental. I think that's happened to all of us though. At some time in the past you've accidentally gone into the water somewhere you didn't mean to. Normally it happens on something like Arctic region. He's going for the KV-1, who pulls back just at the right moment to avoid the damage. 88 hit points only of splash, but it looks like it's kept him in place for a little while. Just getting ready for another shell. I think the KV-1's got the 85mm gun. Rounds out. Lovely shot, that one. Right on target for 148, but not a huge amount of damage because that is a heavily armoured tank. He's getting requests for fire and he's marked it as his next target. Okay, the DSPZ though is very low on hit points, and a splash hit is enough to take him out of the game. So he's aiming for the corner, fires the round in, and yes, he gets him. Yes, if you ever see a tank that's mortally wounded or rather very, very badly damaged, do take advantage of it, because if you can take a gun out of the game, you can make a huge difference to your team. We've seen a few battles recently where somebody with just one hit point survived the entire battle and ended up getting a huge amount of damage on the enemy tanks and 5 kills. All because he was left with just one hit point. Oh, he set him alight! He set him alight and he burned to death. That shell that hit him, that blind shell, actually set him alight and he burned to death. He's going to try and kill the KV-1 now. Oh, he splashed him. Picked up the stun assist. Okay, the enemy is in a bit of trouble now because they've got a DSPZ crossing the lake. He's gone out of sight, but he's actually in the shallow water. We're looking at the DSPZ up here as well. So 2 kills so far to Heimblood. We lost the AMX CLC who was spotting for us up there a while back, unfortunately. So now we don't have anyone spotting those tanks, but the Stug is in a position he could move up. And our tanks have won over the hill, so they're coming down the other side. And I suspect that the enemy tanks will suddenly come into sight, trying to defend against our guys as they come down the hill. Oh, there's the first kill from the enemy. It's a Bishop that kills our VK3001H. So the enemy Bishop is somewhere in the tree line, along the A line. But he's aiming in this area because that's where he expects the enemy mediums to be. A T-67's been spotted in the south, next to the water. But he's lost sight of that one now. And the guys on top of the hill have decided instead of coming down that side, they're going to take advantage of coming down the hill the other side, which is going to fool the enemy into thinking they're trying to come down that top side. They'll be watching that side, and all of a sudden the enemy tanks, or our tanks, will appear from a different direction. Okay, he's looking to get a shot on that T-67. He's decided to change position again. Wondering if he's decided to go back in amongst the trees for protection because he doesn't know where the enemy is. The DSPZ's suddenly been spotted, and the other one as well. Unfortunately, Heimblood's still moving, and suddenly he's... Yep, there he is, that DSPZ. He's stuck there in the middle of the lake. I think he's been there for some time, but he's in a kind of hull-down position on that spot, and, well, he knows where he is, because that's the exact spot. He's aimed at the spot, rounds out now. Oh, he looked away, but he did kill the DSPZ. It would have been nice actually watching that shell go in and suddenly the dead tank appearing. As I always say to the contributors, don't look away after you fire, because then you miss out on all the information that a shell like that can tell you. If the shell did hit the target but didn't kill it, you'd see that the shell would disappear without any explosion, and then you'd know you got the right target, but you just didn't put enough force into it. Now, he did get that notification that that tank was killed, and unfortunately our M10 RBFMs just got wiped out as well, and he was killed by the DSPZ, so I suspect that was the one above the lake, because the enemy, well, they've still got 2 actually. They've still got 2 DSPZs. Maybe it was another one somewhere else. Maybe there's one nearer to the south side. He's fired around where the DSPZ was last seen using the minimap. And in fact, actually, there's one right up on top of the hill. He's just found our KV-1. So there must be another one somewhere over in grid square H1. Because that's where our teammates are indicating. A Stug 3G is coming towards us. And Heimblood's not looking in that direction. He's looking at the spotting bush. He didn't fire at that one straight away at the start of the game, but he's going to have another go now. I'd fire it in. If the DSP-Z's in there, he's not going to like that, and he might move. But in fact, the M10 RBFM was last seen next to that bush. We're now scanning for that Stug. He's more than likely behind that bush. Well worth firing around in that spot. He's dialed in. And he hit him. So he was there. He is behind the bush. So he's using the minimap to target his the opponents. And there's the other DSP-Z. The one that wasn't up on top of the hill has been found. He's been killed by the Stug. The other Stug is on the move again. And we just lost our Stug as well to their M10. Here comes their Stug. He's going for the water, which is a mistake at this point because you won't get across. You won't get through, but he's going for the dip now. Will he make it? I think he is going to make it. Just. Oh, kill shot! That was a good one. He was lucky that that shell hit the target because he was just over the ridgeline, but just the top of his vehicle exposed. A very flat trajectory shot as well because he is fairly close to the target. Well, the M10 obviously was fairly close because he was the one who got the kill on our Stug. He might be in that spotting bush. The trouble is, you see, he might still be in view range of the M10, but his sixth sense hasn't gone off, so I don't think the M10's seen him yet. But the closer he gets to the north, the more likely that M10's going to see him. And there's the VK3001H coming across. There's only 3 minutes left on the game. He's dialing in and then moves the aim over the target, lines it up, and nice hit. 241 makes the guy a one shot for his next shell. Oh, he's definitely a one shot now. He's only 17 hit points left. A near miss is going to be enough to take him out the game. And that's the moment the DSP-Z on the enemy team comes down from the hill. Gets killed by the Matilda 4. But now where was that VK coming out? We've lost sight of him and lost track of precisely where he was. But I suspect he's coming up to that bush. The one that he's aiming near at the moment. He only has 17 hit points, so if he can land a shell in the bush, he might be able to take him out. And I think he's in that bush. Now the splash radius, as I mentioned before, 7 meters. So if he fires around right into the center of that bush, he should damage the guy even if he's near the spot. That's the 2-minute warning. Only 3 enemies left, facing 4 on our team. I'd say it's worth a round just to try it, just to see if he's there. Heimblood's waiting for sight of the enemy. There he is. He's not near the bush, so he was right to hold fire. Rounds out. Kill shot. And there's the M10. So he's waiting for the reload to go through, and he's going to have another chance to get a top gun. 2 shells into the M10 already. And he's dead. So it's now just the bishop on the enemy team. And the only way to get the bishop is actually to drive up the enemy end of the battlefield with 1 minute 6 seconds left on the clock. This is going to be close. Only 1 enemy remaining. Last minute. There he is! Now get this one right on target and you get yourself a top gun and win the game for the team. He's hiding behind the rock, which is a bad mistake for the bishop because he knows that there's an Arty on the team, and that's a kill. Gives the top gun and wins the game for his team. Well done, Heimblood. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. And it's an ace tanker for Heimblood, 76 in the Grille. He managed to get a Well, he got an ace tanker, he got an arsonist for setting light to that Excelsior and watching the wreck appear. Well, technically it appeared a short while later after he'd actually hit it. It must have been burning for some time. He also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 21 in this one. And he got 6 kills on that last shot, taking out the bishop. And his win rate from the battle was 7,181, which is Super Unicum standard. So let's have a look at team score. He's actually the only player on his team to get over 2,000 hit points, but the highest damage in the game actually went to the M10 RBFM on the enemy team, who got a high caliber for 2,208 hit points of damage. Hindblood managed to get 2,014, the next highest scorer, and the KV1 on his team managed 1,454. When it came to kills, though, it was Hindblood who got the highest with 6 kills, 2 kills for the KV1, the DSPZ, the Stug 3G, the M10 RBFM, the DSPZ on the enemy team, and their bishop. And when it came to base XP, yes, he's got the highest in that one as well. 903 to Hindblood, 799 goes to the KV1, and 703 goes to the Matilda 4. He fired 16 rounds in that game, got 8 direct hits, no penetration, 13 splash. Damage of 2,014 hit points, of which 1,809 were up more than 300 meters. Those last few kills were actually fairly close to him at the time. 9 enemy vehicles damaged, 6 killed, and 166 hit points of damage assistance, plus 339 hit points of stun assist off 8 stuns. On a premium count, he earned 39,851 credits, and after ammunition resupply took away 31,771 credits. He received 1,354 XP times 2 for the first victory, 2,710 for completing the mission and events, and took away 5,419 experience points altogether. So very last minute kill, because the clock was ticking down. If that bishop had not moved as far south as he did, and he was obviously doing that to try and support his team, but he made himself vulnerable, and instead of sitting in a bush far enough away so that he could get shots without being seen, he actually ended up being spotted and allowed Hindblood to get his top gun. Mind you, I suspect that if Hindblood actually moved over the battlefield as he was doing towards the end of that game, he probably would have seen the bishop when he got to the other end of the battlefield, but whether or not he would have had enough time left to actually get a kill, or whether the bishop would have shotgunned him instead, well, who would have knows. But I think the bishop did make a big mistake coming as far south as he did, and he paid for it by letting Hindblood get the medal. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.